This has been a long time coming. I have my dear friend Dana Obleman on the show today. Dana, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, Dana and I have known each other forever, it seems like. We meet every single month. We're in a small group, little peer led accountability group. And Dana and I met at a mastermind. Gosh, when was that? Like 2015, 2016?
Oh, yeah, at least that long ago.
It was a long time ago. And the thing about Dana is Dana and I have done a lot together, including been to many mastermind retreats, but we ended up going to this speaker conference. I want to share this story. And people were walking up to Dana and saying to Dana, "Are you Dana, the sleep sense woman?" And she's like, "Yes." And people were saying, like, "You changed my life. You changed my life," because what Dana teaches is how, am I saying this right? You tell me, she teaches people how to get their kids to sleep and then also trains sleep consultants to get their kids to sleep through the night. And if you're
Yes.
a parent, which I am not, so I don't necessarily have this pain point, but I know what it's like when I don't sleep, that if your kid's not sleeping through the night, it is literally a nightmare for everyone.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. It's everybody, I think every parent goes through it at some point in the parenting journey. And yeah, it could just be really debilitating in every area of your life. It doesn't matter, your work life, your personal life, your parenting life. Sleep affects everything, as we all know.
It really does. And I remember we were sharing a room. You were like putting tape on all the
Oh,
blue dots,
yeah, that's right.
unplugging the alarm clocks. I'm like,
Hmm.
really? We have to do all of that? And you're like, yes, it's going to be so good.
Yeah, so true. I forgot about that.
That's so funny. I don't know why I just remembered that. So let's bring our listeners back. Tell us a little bit about your journey. Why did you launch Sleep Sense? And why are you now training sleep consultants? Let's dive in.
Yeah, so this career was really born out of a necessity. I had my first son, and he was a terrible sleeper. We suffered months of 2 hour at a time sleeping, and I just kind of reached my breaking point. I think a lot of parents, I always say it's like hitting rock bottom. Like I can still remember the night where I was like, I can't do this one more day. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe I just am not equipped with the whatever it takes to be a mom. Just was making me feel really unconfident in my skills as being a mother. And so that night I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to see if there's a way that I can help him sleep better. And that's really started the journey. I read everything I could find. I talked to doctors. I looked online. And I put a plan together for my son. And within a week or so, his sleep like transformed before my eyes. He started sleeping better. He turned into a really happy, relaxed little guy where for months I'd been saying, "Oh, he's so spirited." I don't know. I don't know why he won't sleep. He's so spirited. But he actually was, no, he's really relaxed and chill even to this day. He just was, chronically sleep deprived. And so I started to think maybe this is like a missing piece of the parenting journey. Like
Mm.
there's help for breastfeeding, there's, prenatal classes you can take, you can learn to change a diaper, but you can't really learn anything about the sleep needs of a newborn. And I felt like maybe this is a place I could fill. And I just sat on it for a little while, but I also had a teaching career that I was getting ready to go back to, feeling really uninspired to do that. Didn't want my son to be in 10 hours of daycare 5 days a week. So I was really looking for an alternative, something where I could still make money, but I could also spend more time with him. And I just took a leap of faith and said, why don't I give it a shot? Let's see if I can do this. And I quit my job pretty much on the spot, and I just dove in head first. And thankfully, it was a risk worth taking.
I'm going to say you're like, well, I've just had my maternity leave and I'm not coming back.
Exactly. So,
That must happen a lot, though, probably also in the teaching world as well. Just people, they
yeah, like your
have every
priorities
idea. I mean, not
change.
necessarily to start their own business, but, they want to be with their
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. Your priorities completely change. For me, I was like, well, I don't want other people raising my son. Like, I want to be with him. I knew I didn't want to be with him like full. I knew that like staying at home, like just being a mom was not for me. I know it's great for some people, but for me, I was like, no, I need a little more than that. So I knew I wanted to have a career. I just didn't want to be gone from him for so many hours. I wanted to find a better balance. Like, could I figure out a way to work during his nap times? Could I figure out a way to work, some evenings and weekends so that I could have more time?
It's amazing. So that must have felt really risky starting a business after being a teacher. What was your husband,
Hmm.
Mike? Was your husband Mike doing something else at the time too? Because I know you guys partnered in the business together.
Yeah. He was working for an internet marketing company. He was doing copywriting for them, and he was really supportive right from the beginning idea conception. He was like, "You're really passionate about it. You've done such a great job with Charlie, our son. I think it's something people need. Why don't you go for it?" So he backed me up right from the start. But yeah, when I look back on it, I actually think like I might have been a little bit crazy. Like that was like to quit my job. First of all, I hadn't even started the business. I literally quit my job before I even had a client. I was just like, no, I can't do both. I can't, think about work and also try to start a business. I'm just going to give it my 100% effort. Failure's not an option kind of attitude. And, really learned quickly by the seat of my pants, like how do you even start a business? How do you become an entrepreneur? How do you find clients? It was a huge learning curve.
So you took a really big risk, and you built this wildly successful brand that people are just like, Dana is like a sleep legend, right? What was it like in the early days when you decided to step out and take that risk, not knowing like any of the things that you just mentioned? And how did you navigate kind of overcoming the fear of stepping out and doing this?
Yeah, it is scary. It is scary to start something new. But I was so passionate about it, and I think that that's like the core of any successful business is just having like a really burning
Mhm.
passion. I wanted to help people. I didn't want people to suffer. Sleep consulting as a profession didn't even exist at the time. So I really saw a path in which I could help parents solve
Mhm.
a really big problem and change their lives. And so that was a huge motivating force. But yeah, there were days where I thought, "What have I done?" And there were days where I was excited and like. The entrepreneurial journey is a ton of ups and downs and highs and lows, as you know. It was just but I just went back to the drawing board again and again. Like if something didn't work, I came back. I looked at it a different way. I tried a different path. I just didn't give up. I let the mistakes that I made be more of a learning experience than a failure,
Mhm.
and just kept my foot on the pedal. Like I had to make it work.
So let's talk about how your brand's evolved because now you're primarily focusing on training sleep consultants, but it wasn't always that way. Do you want to take us back to the early days and how you've kind of evolved your
Yeah.
offers?
Yeah, so I worked one on one with clients for a few years, just like seeing clients in house, working one to one. And then Mike's idea was, why don't we make this an ebook? Like this was before like there even was
This
such
is
a thing.
old days,
This is
ebook.
old days. They're like an ebook. What's that? And so we took my experience and we turned it into the Sleep Sense program, and we started selling it online as well as an ebook. And so that was really exciting because that was a way to make some money sort of passively where I didn't have to be face to face with people. I could just share my expertise with them online. So that was great. And then about the 5 year mark, I started getting a lot of requests from the clients that I had worked with. They'd had such a life changing experience working with me that they wanted to pay it forward. How can I become a sleep consultant? And that's again where the pieces started to fall together for a
Mm.
certification model where I could train groups of people to become certified in the Sleep Sense method, become Sleep Sense consultants. And that's been really exciting. That's been running for the last 15 years. We have Sleep Sense consultants in 45 countries around the world.
Wow.
It's just been a really great journey. And I love, I love coaching. I love mentoring. I love helping women, get that work-life balance that we all crave for.
Yes, because the work-life balance is the thing that we all need. And I want to go back, like, I didn't know, I've known you for a long time, Dana, and I didn't know you had sleep consultants in 45 different countries.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Cool.
So you have trained all these sleep consultants over the world, and clearly you found your niche. How do you recommend that people who are trying to find their way in entrepreneurship define their niche? And how important is it to have like a super specific dialed down niche?
I think you and I both saw our niche, right? Like, I think it's really tricky. First of all, for me, I saw a gap, right? I saw a gap. I mean, parenting is a very popular topic. It's a very popular profession, but there was this hole in parenting. Like, there was this nutrition, there was breastfeeding, there was, baby care, there was all the spectrum of topics, but sleep was just this huge gap. So finding a gap in the industry, I think, is really important, and then just honing in on that lane and really dialing in and making that your home is a great way to start any business. And then even within sleep consulting, it's really grown and blossomed over the last 20 years, which is great and exciting. But for new consultants, it can be a little bit daunting because you're looking around and everybody's kind of offering the same thing. And how do you stand out in a crowd? And so I've even recommended within sleep consulting that people develop a specialty, right?
Ooh.
So maybe they love working with toddlers and that becomes kind of their lane. I'm the toddler expert. I've got consultants who love working with newborns, like new moms, newborns. How do we help those new little babies get on the right sleep path? So then that's their lane. I'm going to focus on newborns, could be older children. I even have some consultants who love working with like the adolescent teen range. So just within that, you can dial it down. And now you stand out because you're not just a sleep consultant or just another sleep consultant. You're a sleep consultant with a specialty. And that's going to start attracting people who need you.
What about adult children who need to sleep better? Can someone train Jason? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, we do. We work with adults as well. We do have I have a certification model for coaches who are looking to help adults, but that's a whole other level.
It really is. I'm like, maybe if I could just stop his OCD at midnight when he is going all in on editing videos. And I'm like, it's time to go to bed.
Exactly. Yeah. Adults are a whole other discussion. They've got a lot of bad habits.
It's so funny. So one of the topics I've been exploring with some of my guests lately is this idea of burnout or being misaligned with your business. How has that shown up for you in your business? And can you share a little bit more about how you've gotten through some of those tough times?
Yeah. I was looking back, I was sort of thinking about it, reflecting, and I think like kind of at every 5-year mark, there was a feeling of like things feel the same. It's pretty repetitive. I'm getting a little bit bored maybe, or I'm starting to burn out on sort of the same content, same conversations. And that's when I opened the door to something new. So at the 5-year mark, we started the certification. Then we started, at the 5-year mark within that, I started to change the model because we used to do it live in person, and then we've done it online, and then we've turned it into more of a work at your own pace. So that's been an evolution in and of itself to like pivot and make changes, with the desire to always make it better, but also how can I keep my passion alive within it? And yeah, I think, that's something I'm kind of at that 5 year, I was at that 5 year mark
Mhm.
again, feeling that same sort of burnout. And then it required like a, a, a deep inner exploration of like, what do I want and where do I see the business going in the next 5 years? And so I think it's just important to keep that in mind. Like, you can't do the same thing forever. I don't know anyone who has
Yeah.
the exact same business model they had even 10 years ago. We have to evolve and make changes and pivot to keep things fresh, to add excitement, and, to keep up with whatever industry you're in.
So what did you do to get the passion back for your business? Because just knowing you and kind of knowing that we kind of were both at this match stage of feeling a little bit of malaise about where we were in business and wanting to like elevate our passion and get back to being excited about things. Were there any specific steps that you took, or how did you get back to this place where you feel excited again? And what
Yeah.
would you recommend to someone else who's not feeling excited?
Yeah, I think for me, I really like to feel joyful about my day. I like to feel, passionate and excited. Maybe not every day, but most of the days. And so it's looking at what's not working or what's making me unhappy. Like,
Mhm.
what are the exact tasks? And I've done this many times where I write down everything I do, right? Right. Especially as entrepreneurs, we do everything. So write down everything that I do, look at it, and circle the ones that bring me down or the things that I don't like doing in my week or my day. And then how can I get out of them, right? How can I offboard these? Could somebody else do it? Can I hire someone to do it? And I've done that repeatedly throughout the years of like getting back to what makes me happy. What am I good at? What lights me up? And trying to keep that the focus and let go of that other stuff.
I love that. Finding the joy in the things that you actually love doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you ended up joining the Art of Reinvention program.
I
Um,
did.
tell me a little bit about your experience in that program and stepping into, this new, refreshed, more passionate version of you to get back into alignment with your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it requires external help, right? And
Hmm.
advice. Like, that's why I've been in masterminds for my whole career. Again, kind of every 5 years, we found a new mastermind to
Yeah.
become a part of, which gives you like a resurgence of energy, new ideas, new people doing cool things. I mean, I'm an extrovert. So, like, I need to be in community with people. And when I'm not, I start to shrink, right?
Hmm.
I'm like a flower. Oh, I'm getting tired. So I need to always be with people. And so I was feeling that way again. And your course kind of came to me and it felt like the right fit because I was really thinking, like, what's the next step at this point? Like, what do I really want? Again, looking at like what makes me happy? What am I good at? What are the things in my day that like get me fired up? And I needed like a compass to help me get back to that. That's probably like the first time in my 20-year career where I really felt like I wasn't sure. Like, I wasn't sure what the direction was, and I wasn't sure what the future looked like. And it's not a pleasant place to be. It's not a great place to be, especially as an entrepreneur. So, finding your course was really helpful for me to kind of get a roadmap.
How did you, I don't want to use the word push because I think that's the wrong word, but how did you navigate that uncertainty, and how did the program support helping you find a little bit more focus?
Well, I think the biggest impactful piece for me, I think it's module 2, was about like when you said the word something like, because it's easy for you, you discount it. But what's easy for you is your gift, right? What's easy
Hmm.
for you is your genius. And I had forgotten that. I really had. And then you got us to do some like evaluations and some personality tests and things like that. And I just was getting all this feedback about like these are the things you're awesome at. These are the things you're awesome at. These are the things you're awesome at. And I was like, oh, thank you. I needed that reminder. Those are the things that I'm awesome at. But somehow I had completely, brushed them under the rug and moved away from them. And that was super helpful because it reminded me that those are gifts that I have that not everybody has. And
Mhm.
I need to cultivate them and I need to showcase them.
I think this is one of my favorite things about supporting people through this process of evolving their business or their brand or stepping away from a corporate career and stepping into what's next for them, either if it's consulting or launching a different type of business, is that we do forget that we are naturally gifted at things. And sometimes it feels so easy. And one thing that I realized during this process and through this last year or whatever, Jason always said to me, your biggest gift is being able to help people see a vision beyond the vision that they can see for themselves and more possibility. And I'm like, who is going to buy that? That was like the thing that I was really like coming up against because like, can you sell vision? But there are books on it. And also in this program, like a huge part of what I was supporting people through, even in the initial stages of getting on calls with people to talk about their reinvention, activation, and what they wanted, a big part of that is helping them drop into their vision, whether they can see it or feel it, because everyone sees things differently. That's a huge part of the process. And it's funny how we start to discount the thing that comes so naturally. It's like, how do you package it up? But there's always a
Mm-hmm.
way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So through this process, you've come on the other side. I mean, I've had the beauty of witnessing your transformation for the past couple of years because we were in a very similar spot, different companies, different situations, different things going on. How are you feeling now about Sleep Sense and everything that's going on and your life? Because it's like I'm looking at you and you're like the bright, like a ray of sunshine right now.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And it felt a little bit like an epiphany. Like I think working through the course material and sort of being reminded of who I am, where my skills lie, what I want and need to be happy. And, Mike and I went for a walk one afternoon and just sort of had a heart to heart about like, what do we want? What's going to make us happy? And just some clarity came to me, like just sort of a back to the basics. Like, let's get back to the things that I'm good at, um, that give me joy, and let's let go of some of the things that are dragging us down. And and I walked into the next day feeling really peaceful about it, and I still feel that way. I really feel like a new commitment to just living a positive life, and taking better care of myself, and just focusing on the things that I enjoy doing, the things that I'm good at. It's, it sounds so simple, but it took me like a long time and a lot of struggle to finally get there.
I think sometimes we forget. We like to make things so complicated.
I do.
And we're trying all these new things and we're saying yes to things when we really mean no. And our body knows, right? We can feel it.
Yes.
I'm coming up against a decision right now that I'm going to have to work through. And it feels so good when you feel just completely in alignment and things are simple.
It doesn't mean that there's not problems. Like, there's
No, that's not
still,
what I'm saying.
yeah, like, I don't want people to think, oh, it's rosy and everything's great. That's not life, right? That's not reality. It's just more of a mindset that I've chosen that allows me to not hold on so tightly to the attachment behind everything, and to just kind of show up in my day, feeling good and feeling healthy and feeling um, focused on the
Mm-hmm.
tasks at hand. And yeah, that there are things that I can control and there are things that I cannot control. And knowing which is really important for, being successful and happy.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Such great wisdom.
Thanks.
Dana, what would you say to anyone who's thinking about taking the Art of Reinvention program?
Yeah, I would say go for it. I mean, if it's come upon your path, I always take that as signs, right?
Right.
If something comes upon my path or it shows up a few times or I heard a few people mention it, I take note and I usually pursue it, whether it's a book or a show or a course. And so if it's showing up, it must mean that it's for you and it's calling you and it wants to be seen by you. And it's just a really powerful course for finding a new way, or in my case, not a new way, but just coming back to the love you had for your business in the first place. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to start a brand new career or go a whole new direction. It can just be a brush of a breath of fresh air into the business you already have, or just pivoting slightly, or focusing on the things that you do love within your business and letting go of the other things. So yeah, I would say go for it.
Dana, where can everyone find you if they want to learn more about your sleep sense consulting training and your programs and everything else?
Yeah, easy to find me. The website is sleepsense.net, and I'm on Instagram under Sleep Sense. And I'm happy to chat. You can DM me, and we can see if you need help with your own kids. I'm here to help. And if you want to start a new career as a sleep consultant, I'd love to chat.
Okay, I have one more question. So, for anyone who's a terrible sleeper right now, what are 3 things that they can do to get a better night's sleep?
Yeah. Oh, they're so easy too. Number one, put your phone away. I'm not joking. It really is number one. If you can dedicate an hour, I call it the power down hour. If you can, turn off a lot of the light that's in your home, close your curtains, turn off your screens, start like creating sort of a sundown experience for yourself. Maybe journal, listen to a podcast, take a bath. There's lots of other things that we can do in an hour of time before bed. That alone is going to change your sleep right there. Even put your phone in another room, for the night. Tuck it in somewhere else for the night. That's one. And then the next thing would be to make your sleeping space like I call it a sleep cave. You want it to be cold, not cool, cold, uh, cold and dark. So any little lights, no alarm clocks, no, like, even the light that emits, if you have a TV in your bedroom, that little light that shines at the bottom, cover it up. Survey the room. Where are the light sources? I mean, I just realized that there's a light that shines into my bathroom from the street that reflects onto a mirror I have in my bedroom. So I had to, and now I shut the door. So getting rid of all your light source in the night is going to make a huge difference. Sleeping in a cool, dark room is perfect. And then morning light. So it's called anchoring the day. So if first thing in the morning when you get up, if you can spend even 10 minutes in natural sunlight, even on a cloudy day, it doesn't matter. Just have your coffee outside or walk your dog an extra lap so you get 10 minutes. Eat your breakfast out there. Just get some sunlight into your eyeballs first thing in the morning. That helps set your body clock. And those 3 things will make a big difference.
If you are by a big window, does that count?
No, I mean, it helps, but it is better to be actually outside.
Okay, those are great, great tips. I have one more question.
Yes.
How do you wake up without an alarm clock?
I just naturally wake up. If you honor your body clock, so I know exactly when I need to go to bed and I know exactly when I'm going to wake up. And that happens, I would say 98% of the time.
Mm.
And if you train your body to do that, you'll never need an alarm clock ever again. But if you needed one, I mean, there's ways to do it. You could have it just in the hall. You could set your phone alarm in the hallway.
Yeah.
You could put it in your bathroom. I mean, you're still going to hear an alarm. It doesn't need to be right beside your head.
Yeah. Thank you, Dana.
My pleasure.